Cooking with Scarab.
Good morning, fellow INTERPEEPS. I am Scarab and you're watching Scarabic Gaming. Today we are going to be making a Christmas pork belly roast. And I'm in an apron and I'm holding knives. I shouldn't be trusted with such objects, but here I am. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the Scarabic Gaming Christmas special and I'm about to carve up this thing. But first, I'm going to teach you how to do this. I've got stuff everywhere. I got onions, I got potatoes, I got garlic, I got stuff. And here is where we're going to put the pork. So let's get started. All right, this is a cooking video, just so you know. I'm gonna put this there and I'm gonna put that there. Now, first step, when you want to cook a pork belly, the first thing you gotta do is obviously take out the meat and then you need to pat it down with paper towel. And the reason for this is because you need to score it, and then by scoring I mean cutting into the meat, and then you gotta put some oil on it and some salt. Now I'll show you that in just a second. So how are you all doing? Let me know in the comments, and if you would like to share your Christmas with me, whether it be your Christmas tree, your Christmas presents, your decorations of your house, or even your Christmas dinners, I'd love to see them. All you need to do is put in the hashtag INTERPEEPS. And that way I'll be able to choose my favorites and put that into a video that is going to follow these Christmas videos that I'm making for you guys. Anyway, I have a silver hat, I got a thing, and yeah. Awesome. So first step, I've already lost where I am, what I'm doing. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. There's a table in front of me full of yummy and good stuff. I'm confused. This is not my regular content! Anyway, first step, you need to have clean hands, okay? So before I started this, I have washed my hands. Because you don't want, okay, that can go over there. You don't want to have horrible, disgusting hands when you're chopping up food that people are going to eat. So what you need to do after you pat this down, what I like to do, honestly, is I'm going to put this off of that, and I'll put this in here, which, as you can see, I've already pre-oiled it, and ta-da! Just like that. Beautiful, right? So, after you've done that, don't need this. After you've done that, bring it close to you. Don't think I need this right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some olive oil. I'm going to pour it over the top after I score it. That's what I was going to do. I know I'm doing things in a really weird and backwards order, but that's only because I'm not used to making cooking videos. I'm very, what's the word? Spontaneous. Now, I'm just clearing off those little black spots, and that's not sharp. No. All right, so all we want to do is cut very small divots into the meat, which is called scoring for some reason. 407 years ago, Scarab cut a roast. All right, now I'm making it a little bit too deep because, well, I'm not a chef, all right? So don't judge me too harshly. And they don't have to be perfect. Like, the scores don't have to be perfect. They just got to be about roughly a centimeter away from each other. And that should be enough, you know? Now, you can either do a line like I'm doing now, or you can go crisscross. I like to crisscross sometimes, and that's okay. But here we go. Almost done with that. All right, you cut into that, and then as you can see, there's little slits. See? So I'm just gonna quickly crisscross just a little bit, not much. So I don't want it to be too crisscrossy. And yeah, just there we go. There we go. That's starting to come together nicely. Now I've cut too deep because I was underestimating the sharpness of this knife. And while you're doing this, make sure you don't cut your fingers off. That is a, you really seriously don't cut your fingers off. It's gonna hurt and it's gonna suck, and don't do that. Not that I've ever done it, but I have a rough idea of don't do that, because I just know it's gonna hurt really badly. And also, come on man, it's your fingers, you need those. So I'm gonna put that there, and then, as you can see, all nice and crisscrossy, I'm gonna put some olive oil over it. And what you want to do with this olive oil is you rub it into the slits that you just cut. So you rub it into the score, or score and 7 years ago. And then, once that's all nice and done, what you're going to want to do is get some salt. Now when it comes to salt and pork, they go together really, really well, trust me. But what you want to do, well, I like to do at least, is to get some sea salt and some table salt. I like table salt because it's really easy to get into the cracks. I can't remember where I put my table salt, so I'm not going to use table salt. But oh, I've got Himalayan pink salt. That'll do. Just as a little bit of a difference. There's a little bit of that. And now I've got some sea salt. Now, this sea salt, I'm just gonna crush it up in the bag a little bit so it's not too big. You don't want it to be too big because then you can oversalt it. And I know a lot of people say you can't oversalt a roast, but trust me, you can. You can. I've done it. So here we go. Now, what you want to do, grab a nice handful of salt. Try to crush it up while you spread it using the hand. There we go. And then you want to rub this in to the slits. So if you can just do that and not take what I'm saying out of context, that would be lovely. So what you do is you just rub this in. Oh, and by the way, while you're doing this, you should be preheating the oven. So you should, at the beginning, because we want this to crackle on top, you should preheat the oven to roughly 240 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm sure you can Google it, because you guys are smart. And 240 Celsius, then you can, this is 800 grams, by the way, so I'm cooking it at 240 until the crackling starts to do its thing, and it starts to look really nice and stuff, and then you turn it down to about 160 to 180, depending on your preference and how you like it cooked. So, and then you do that for about 40 to 50 minutes depending on the size, and if it's bigger, obviously allow for more time. You can cook it for a couple hours, and if you want to slow cook it as well, you can do that too. So if you want to cook things for a little longer or leave it in, just turn it down to about 150 to 160 Celsius, and yeah, well, you can even go a little bit lower if you really need to, depending on how slow cooked you want it. But yeah, you can just leave it in there for a little longer and just check on it every now and then, and it should be fine. Now what I'm doing here is I'm getting the sea salt and I'm sticking it on the sides, so on the very sides of the fat, because you get that and then it will end up crackling really nice and beautifully. And that's what you want. When you cook pork, you want good crackling. So here we go. This is not a vegan nor vegetarian food, so certainly you guys that are vegan and vegetarian might be able to find some sort of substitute for this. You might have maybe a roast pumpkin or a, I don't know what vegans eat because I'm not vegan, but I'm sure you've got a supplement. Oh, you got fake bacon, right? So I guess you could do something with that. Anyway, I'm done with the salt now. As you can see, I put a lot of salt on it. So I'm just gonna quickly rub the top of that again. So you want as much salt in the little divots as possible. All right, and then all you gotta do, yep, that looks nice, it's dandy, that's beautiful. I'm just gonna rub this off because you don't wanna have dirty hands or anything. I can't really get to a kitchen right now. I'm cooking in my lounge room because I need to show you guys what to do and how to do it. So I can't exactly wash my hands right now. I'm gonna have to stick with paper towel. And put the sea salt away. grab a little bit of my other salt and just crack that over the top, just lightly. Don't need to have it too much. As I said, I don't want to over salt it. It's going to be very salty, a lot of sodium, but it's going to taste amazing, and that's kind of the point. So, and then I crack some pepper over it, as you can see right here. Oh, that's beautiful, that's looking delicious. Okay, I was about to put the olive oil lid onto the pepper. All right, maybe I should concentrate on what I'm doing for once in my life. Okay, so mixed herbs. I usually just grab a couple. I mean, you can have fresh herbs and stuff like that as well if you want, but I usually just mix herbs and sprinkle a little bit over the top like that. So it's all nice. Don't put too much, but it's nice just to have on there, and at a high temperature it will burn on top, so it will have it'll have a little bit of a smoky flavor. So that's what you want. You want to burn the herbs into the meat, which is going to taste amazing. Well, into the fat, I should say. And a little bit more pepper. But this time I'm going to have powder. Using my hand, and just sprinkle a little bit of that over the top. Now, I like my peppery and salty crackling, and that's why I do what I do. And if you really, really need to, which you probably don't, but what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of paprika in there, and just to give it a bit of color, you know? Again, paprika is great for when you want a smoky flavor or texture, and I will show you some more of that in a little bit. Well, now that that is done, the oven should be prepped and ready to go. So this is what it looks like when it's prepared for the oven. Hopefully you guys can enjoy that. Now, I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be back. And I'm back. All right, so the roast is in the oven. Now we got to be really careful with our time, because if we leave it in there for too long, it's going to burn, and you don't want it to burn. So I'm leaving it in there until it gets crispy. So you keep an eye on it for the first 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is, and then I guess we'll find out what happens. Now, I've pre-washed these potatoes, and I'm going to show you how to make my famous baked potatoes. So it's not exactly baked potatoes, but it is baked potatoes. Look, they're potatoes that you bake, okay? I'm not going to just like crisscross slit these things and then let it bake and then put cheese and not whipped cream, sour cream and stuff like that on it. I'm actually going to cut these up and then put them into a pan and slow cook them. It's going to be amazing, and that's what I'm going to do when I need to turn down the roast. So first, what we need to do is take these away for a second. I'll show you this pan that I've already lined with baking paper. I keep getting my papers mixed up. We don't need that. Go away. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put some olive oil in this, just like that. And then we're going to get some butter. And we're going to chop the butter up. Now, it's easier if you leave the butter out for a little while, so then it melts a bit. But what you can do is you just chop it into little cubes like this. And be careful not to chop your hands again. I know I'm not doing it the way chefs do it, but it doesn't really matter because this is my cooking channel. Alright, so I wouldn't advise anyone to cook the way that I cook, but you won't regret eating the food that I make. So I like to spread the oil around. I probably should have done that before I put the butter in, but that's okay. And then you just want the butter to be in there. We can have a little bit more butter. Yeah. Just a little bit more butter. That and that. There we go. All right, so what we're doing is we're actually preparing, so then when we cook the potatoes, they'll be ready to put in here. Actually, not when we cook it, when we cut them. So here we go. This is what I do with my potatoes. You chop it like this, and then you make them into little wedges, just like that, and that, and that, and that. Yeah, they should be big enough because we are slow cooking it after all. So having them about this size is really good, and what you this size roughly is good. And then what you want to do is have those in the oven while the meat cooks at the same time. Not when it's on high, obviously. When you turn it down to 160 or 180, that's when you put the potatoes in. Otherwise, you will overcook them, and then they will get really hard and gross. So the best way to do this is you wait until these are easily push throughable. Like you get a fork or something in the oven, you got to wait until you can push a fork or something into the potatoes. So then you know they're nice and soft. I mean, you can push it through anyway, but what the main thing is that it takes no effort to put it in. So, I mean, doing it with a knife is not exactly a good representation. This is the first time I've ever showed anyone my cooking on YouTube, so excuse me for being a little nervous. So here we go, it's potatoes. Doesn't necessarily matter if they're big or if they're small. Let them cook evenly. They're all going to be slow cooked anyway, so as long as you get the big ones, as long as the big ones are nice and cooked, then you won't really have to worry about the small ones, because they're not going to overcook. They're just going to stew in juices for a while. So we do this really quickly because we want to check on the roast as soon as possible. And once it's done, I will show you guys what it's supposed to look like before you turn it down. All right, here we go. Yep. And then we chop the other one like this, and put that in there as well. And we got one more potato. We may as well go for it. I got the time. Oh, this one's got a hair. Let's chop that out. It's not going to kill anyone, but it's still not nice. You don't want it growing and being all gross and stuff, so that can stay on the table. That's okay. So, yep, here we go. And boop, 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 boop. Yep. And then... Also, I'm currently cooking at a height where it's really bad for my back. You should actually be cooking at this sort of height. But, oh well. I can't choose the table chose me. Alright, I'm just gonna snap that one in half. It was a bit big. Alright, so that's what you want to see when you start off. And then things get fun. And by fun, I mean messy. So I'm gonna quickly wash my hands, or wipe my hands off. And by messy, I mean really, really messy. So yeah, have fun with this part. This is the worst part, in my opinion, only because you have to like wash your hands, and well, you gotta wash your hands after this. I mean, I'm sure there's another way to do it, but it's just easier when doing it with your hands. This is where it gets messy. Ooh. Alright, so what we want to do is want to crack some pepper into the potatoes. Now, let me just move my drink out of the way. I'm also thirsty. That's better. So, crack the desired amount of pepper into the potatoes. Now, I like pepper, so I like to put a lot of it in there. And then you want some salt, obviously. Now, I like things being really salty. By the way, if you are on a diet or something, you might not want to try my recipe, because it's full of sodium, it's full of fat, and it's gonna make you fat. So this is a good special treat, but not something you want to cook every day. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. Okay, and get some herbs and spices, like we did with the roast. It's the same preparation, done slightly differently. A little bit of herbs and spices, a little bit more. Can't go wrong. So I used to put a lot of dill and chives into this, but the pastes they don't make anymore. They don't make the chive paste. So I've had to experiment with basil and other stuff, but you don't really need it. Oh, I didn't need to put my hand in that yet. That's for later. Oh, I'm silly. All right, so as a final touch to this, what you really want to do is you get some cayenne pepper, or however people say it, cayenne pepper. I say Kanye pepper, only because it's weird, but and obviously Kanye, but meh. And no, I'm not a fan of Kanye. I just find it funny to say it. So, now that we've done that, here comes the messy part. What we want to do, put our hands right in here and mix it all about. Yeah. Yeah. It's all squishy. And then you find the little bits of butter, and you smush those around as well. And you just smush it, smush. I'm gonna have to wash my hands after this, definitely, but I will be back. But what you do, you just smush the butter as much as you can, so then it spreads over as much of the potato as possible. And then try to get all of the potatoes covered in the oil and in the butter, because that is going to make it tasty. It's going to make it very, very tasty. And that's what you want when it comes to food, isn't it? You want tasty food. Everyone wants tasty food. So, when that's pretty much done, you can even it out as best you can. Now, I've left some room on this tray because I've got another surprise. So, I'm gonna just put it down, flatten them out. All right. Oh God. So, this is what happens to your hands. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna see if I can just wipe this off, but it's not looking great. Oh, all right. Let's see if I can wipe this off. Oh boy. Hey! This will work. I'll be able to finish what I'm doing before I have to check the pork. So here we go. Now I've really got to hurry. So now that that is done, here comes the surprise. Oops. So we get some onions. We chop the onions. Then I slice down just that one layer, and I undo the onion like this, and off comes the entire thing. It's useful. It's just a shortcut way of doing things, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And before I continue that, I just want to show you one quick thing. When you're done with the potatoes, sprinkle some sweet paprika over the top, give it some color, let it cook out and cook into the potatoes when they're in the oven. So a little bit of that just over the top like this. Alright, now that that's done, we get to do some fun stuff. Alright, so when you've got your onion, you just want to slice it in half, okay? It's as simple as that. Then you want to get some foil. A decent amount of foil, depending on how many onions you make. You get some foil, and then you chop. So you put these on the foil, obviously, and then you chop another onion. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just chopped too much of it, but that's okay. This is just a demonstration. I mean, I will be eating this later and taking photos and chucking it on Instagram, but hang on. But that's fine. The main thing is you guys get to enjoy this and be able to cook it for yourselves one day. So that's what this video is here for. So now that that's there, what you want to do with the onion is you get some butter and you chop it up just a little bit. You don't need a lot of butter, you just need a little bit. So chop that into quarters. Yep. And then get some garlic. I usually get a jar of garlic. Oh man, my hands are so greasy, it's hard to open. I usually get a jar of garlic just because it's easier and it's already there, smushed and nice and awesome. And you put that onto the onto the onions and splash some garlic over the potatoes as well. Now I'm a big garlic fan, so I splash a lot of garlic. Now, there we go. And it cooks in to the potatoes and works into the juices. And there you go. Now, the garlic is done and finished with. What you want to do from here is get that off your hands because it's all wet and goopy and gross. And then you're going to put the butter on top of your onions. And once that's done, oh God, my hands are just so gross. I'm going to have to wash them. They're not gross as in gross. They're not dirty. They're just, they've got a lot of oil on them. So then you put some salt over your onions and over the butter, which will help cook into it when you put it in the oven. And then you put a little bit of pepper. Not a lot, just enough to be there. Okay. Now that that's done, what you do is you get the onions and you close this off. So just put this on top, like that. Press down a little, cover up the ends, fold them up, put them up like this. Now squish it down together. Make sure you don't break the seal. Squish the butter into the onions, and then you get right here next to the potatoes. Now when you have to put this in the oven, it should be when you turn the oven down for your roast. And that is how you do it. And I'm gonna go check on the roast, so I'll be right back. Here's what the roast looks like so far. As you can see, it's starting to crackle really well, and it's also burning my hand, so I'm gonna put this back in the kitchen. But this is what it's supposed to look like to begin with. And I'm back. So the roast still has a little bit of time to go before it needs to turn down. And I'll show you that when it's done. But for the meantime, we leave the potatoes here. And now we're going to chop up some salad. So I've already pre-washed these lettuce leaves and stuff. And lettuce leaves and stuff. No, there's just lettuce leaves, okay? Oh, and the tomatoes. So I'm just going to quickly take this out and start to chop this up. So I'm shredding lettuce for a salad, okay? So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'll just wrap it up and slice down the middle, just like that. Save some time. And just chop it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to be a little bit smaller. Make some more room. Now I need a place to put this in the meantime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up some paper towel and put this onto the paper towel until it's ready. Now I'm going to chop up some more, just like this. Almost chopped my finger off, that's okay, ignore that. And a-boop-a-doop-a-doo-da-doop-doo. I don't know why I chopped it that way, but I did. And bloop. And a little bit more. Yeah, all right. This is fine. So I know most of you people are going, he's massacring the lettuce. Why is he massacring the lettuce? And it just comes down to preference. Like having chopped lettuce is really easy to eat, especially when you're about to have a very, very fattening pork roast. The last thing you want is your sides to be hard to eat. So we're going to put this back into the bowl, just like this. Now, depending on how many people you're serving, depends on how much lettuce you should cut. I cut a bit too much, but that's okay. It's not really that much of an issue. And I can just put that over there. Don't need that. All right, and now we chop up some tomatoes. So I'm not a big tomato fan when it comes to like being in salad and stuff, but the person I am cooking for, myself included, love tomatoes. So what we need to do is we chop the tomatoes, and these are baby tomatoes as well. I think they're baby tomatoes. Are they baby tomatoes or are they cherry tomatoes? What are they? Cilantro tomatoes. Well, I don't know what that is, but to me, tomato is a tomato. tomato, whatever. And then chop it in, throw it in, and don't grab the knife like I just did there because it's dangerous, but that's okay. Now you can also add like cucumber or a little bit of red onion or whatever you really want and put that into your salad, but honestly right now I just want something really to kill some time because I'm just waiting for the roast. So I'm just making a very simple salad that people can obviously add to later, which I will be doing right after I cut the tomatoes, and I'll show you what I mean. So I do just put some tomatoes over that, and that should be enough for now. Just scrape the rest of the seeds and stuff into the salad because it's nice and juicy and delicious. And then I'm going to use the rest of this roll to dry up the board. Just like that. Using the tomato to clean the board. Now what I want to do, look away for a second. Okay, so what I want to do is get some no-name brand cheese, because not sponsored, but I've got tasty cheese here. What you want to do is you want to cut up some tasty cheese. All right, so get a big block and just chop into it like so. Now the reason I'm doing this is because cheese and salad work really good together. And you can trust me on this. And there's one more thing I need to get before I finish. I forgot to bring it out, so pardon me. But here we go. All right, now you just line all of these up for a shortcut. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know how to chop. I'm just filling in some time. At least I'm honest about it. So I'm just filling in time, so then I'm able to check on the roast when it's ready. But chop, there we go, and chop, there we go. All right, so what you want to do is you want to put the cheese and separate the cheese and put it into the salad like I'm doing. Yep. And have a piece. It's delicious. I love cheese. Cheese is amazing. Yep. And you keep breaking it up and put it into the salad. There you go. Now, that's beautiful. I'll be back in a second for the final touch. And I'm back. Now this is where things start to get messy again. Because if you're a fan of cheese, you can't go without feta. Now feta is delicious, but it is incredibly messy, and oh my god. This is gonna be bad. Oh, but it's gonna taste so good. All right, so we break up some feta. Just a little bit of feta cheese, put into the salad like this. With your hands, you can split it apart or you can chop it up. It's up to you, but I prefer to do it by hand because then you get that nice crumbly look and crumbly feel and taste. So go in and grab as much feta as you want. Break it into the salad, just like this. And yep, we keep going. All right, now that should be enough feta for 2 people at least. I've made enough salad for more than 2 people, obviously. Now, all you want to do is just mix this around. And, try not to spill it over the sides, obviously. I failed at that, but it's okay. Now, there you go. You have a nice, beautiful cheese salad that you can share with your friends or keep to yourself. I have no idea which one I'm going to do, but I have a good guess. Now, you can add whatever you want. You can add your own dressing or whatever you need for your own salad. Oh my god. Yep, this is good salad. Okay, so I'm just going to put the cheese away. And then all that's left to do, if you have Glad Wrap, put Glad Wrap over your salad or put a plastic bag over it. Either one doesn't really matter. Choose whatever you'd like, but then just do that. Don't get rid of all the air because the air in the bag or Glad Wrap will prevent your food from freezing, and then you just put it in the fridge and wait for dinner. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll bring out the roast. And this is what it's supposed to look like when you turn the oven down. As you can see, it's got beautiful, nice crackling. You could probably leave it in for a little longer, I just might. But what you want is to have it so then you got that nice crackling on top. Okay, I'm gonna put this back in the oven before I burn my hands off. Oh! Okay, so the roast is back in the oven. I'm gonna leave it in there for another 5 to 10 minutes depending, and I'm just gonna check on it every now and then I'm going to turn it down, put these beautiful things into the oven, and let that slow cook for a little while. I'm gonna bake it for like 40 to 50 minutes, possibly an hour and a half depending, because the longer you leave potatoes in, the better. Yeah, you get it? There is no insinuations there, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. Leaving them in the oven is amazing, as long as it's on an appropriate heat, maybe 160 to 180. If it's on 180, you want to check it, and I'm talking about Celsius, not Fahrenheit, that's too cold. So here we are, waiting in anticipation of a beautiful, beautiful home-cooked Christmas dinner. Potatoes, onions, cheese salad, and a pork belly. Come on, who can go wrong with that? Who can go wrong? I would just like to say, I want to see your Christmas photos, okay? So if you've got a Christmas tree, if you've got some house decorations or something for Christmas, if you've got some presents that you want to show off to the world, let me know. Hashtag INTERPEEPS. Tag all your photos on Instagram and on Twitter with hashtag INTERPEEPS. And that way, I will look through them, find my favorite ones, and I'll feature you in a video. All your pictures will be featured. So here we go. Are you pumped for Christmas? I'm pumped for Christmas! It's not Christmas yet, but this video might come out on Christmas. I haven't decided yet, but still, this is how I cook roast. And I'm about to put this into the big boy oven. Now, if you're a kid and you have no idea what's going on here, I will put a disclaimer stating that ask your parents before you do anything like this, and if handling hot things, make sure your parents are present, and also maybe ask them for help because they can help you out. I have no idea what age group my channel reaches. I know I swear a lot and stuff, so it's probably inappropriate for people under the age of 15 or 18, but outside of that, Merry Christmas everybody, Happy Holidays. Check out my hat, it's all awesome and sparkly and stuff, and I don't know, it's weird. My hair is green, I guess you could call me an elf, but yeah. I'm gonna see you when this comes out of the oven, and I'll show you how to prepare it and put it onto a dish. See you soon. Shut up! Come on, man, jeez. It's just smoke. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that, but my smoke alarm went off. Good thing too. It can get pretty smoky in there. Make sure. Oh my God! No! Shut up! Shut up! I'm trying to talk to my INTERPEEPS. No. Woo. Okay, I forgot to put the Christmas fan. Oh my God, Christmas. Okay, I forgot to put the kitchen fan on, which is why the smoke alarm's going off. Don't worry, I haven't set the house on fire yet. But yeah, this is another reason why you might want to have your parents around, just in case you're stupid and you forget to turn the fan off like I just did. But anyway, I'm going to turn off the cameras for now, bring out some plates, and then when the roast is done, I'm going to show you how to carve it, how to dissect the beautiful, beautiful crackling, and then how to prepare the plate so then it's ready to eat for your loved ones. And we'll get to that soon, and I'll see you soon, INTERPEEPS. Woo! Yeah! I'm really lame and I'm dancing with the towel. Na 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 na, the camera's still on. And now it is time to take the stuff out of the oven. So here we go. Now the first thing I'm pulling out is the potatoes. Look at these beautifully baked potatoes. So what we're gonna do is very hot, so make sure you're wearing mittens or you got some tea towels or something. So here we go. What I like to do when this comes out of the oven, you get some grated cheese and you sprinkle it on top of the potatoes while they're still hot. This will melt the cheese into the potatoes and make it very nice and tasty indeed. So just do that. Oop. Ruining my presentation. Damn cheese. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just sprinkling the cheese evenly throughout all of the potatoes. And there we go. Nice and beautiful. Now I'm going to take out the roast. I'm going to move these to the side. Here we go. Okay, now here we go. Here is the roast. Very nice indeed. I did mess it up a little bit, and I'll tell you the truth. The truth is, I didn't have the tray on the top shelf, so the crackling, although it may be nice and hard the way it's supposed to be, should be able to touch it like this, and it comes apart. So, you know, it's still a bit soft down here, but this is what it's supposed to look like all over. The only reason it didn't do that is entirely my fault. I'm supposed to have, in an oven, there's supposed to be several racks. And what I did wrong is instead of having it on the top shelf, I had it just underneath. So it didn't get enough exposure to the heat. So that is vital to the start of when you make crackling. So I did screw up the crackling, and I apologize about that. But we all make mistakes. Plus, this is my first cooking video. I can't exactly be perfect at everything. So now, as you can see, the potatoes and the cheese, they're all blending nicely. So I'm just going to quickly get a utensil and I'll be back. So now I've brought back the salad, which I'll put here. And we've got the meat and we've got the potatoes. And under here, which we can let steam for a little while longer, I've got the onions. Now, you can leave it in the oven for a little bit longer. And by the way, another thing to note is if you want to slow cook the roast, you might want to do it on 140 Celsius, not what I stated earlier about 160 to 180. I do it fast because I don't have a lot of time in the day, but usually if I do have a lot of time, I'd put it down to 140. So here we go. Cut into this, and it's going to be amazing. But first, I'm going to put the salad on the plate, only because I want to. So we've got nice salad. I've got clean hands, don't worry. So what we want to do is we want to scoop some salad and put it onto the plate. Now you can do this with cutlery and stuff, but everyone I'm cooking for knows me and they know how hygienic I am. So it's okay to have my hands in their salad, considering it was in there to mix it up anyway. So here we go. And just put the salad on there. Try not to mix it around too much because then you will ruin your presentation. Not that it matters in a home-cooked dish, but presentation is still nice to have, at least. And I had to get some more paper towel because I ran out before. But here we go. And just take this off my hands like that and back to normal, all right. So, I like to split this down the middle as best as I can without compromising the potatoes too much. I don't want them to be squished or anything. So here we go. And now we just put the potatoes like this. Oh, that's nice and cheesy. Now that's what you want to see. Put the potatoes onto the plate like so. All right, I messed that one up, but I'll eat it. Oh, that's a good potato. Yep, these are properly cooked. Doesn't matter if they're touching the salad. Also, these plates that I'm making them on are very large. So these are going to be very large servings. I do not recommend for average human consumption. I haven't eaten in a very long time, so I'm eager to eat all of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if my guest, whose birthday it is today, no, not Christmas Day. I'm actually recording this on the 20th. So, happy birthday to a good friend of mine, Von CHIBI, who has an alternative fashion label, and it's called Von CHIBI, and I've helped her do a lot of things with her brand over the years, and hopefully she'll enjoy this dinner on her birthday. So, favour for a friend. Now, I'm going to leave that in there just for now. Oh, it's a bit hot in here now that all this hot food is out. Okay, so I'm a little bit sweaty, but that's okay. It's not on me. We are going to need to cut into this. Now, don't do this without a fork, as I'm about to do, because the steam is going to burn your fingers. I should really get a fork, but I can't be forked. Ba-dum-tsh. Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. So I just slice into there. Now, the fact that it's not taking much effort for me to slice into it is a good sign. It means that it's properly cooked. Yeah, it's just falling off. Okay, that is incredibly hot. And this is incredibly salty too. So, when you do it, maybe put a little less salt and a little more care into the crackling, because I did mess it up and I'm a little bit ashamed. This doesn't happen to me often, but I was in a hurry, and that's one thing that you can't do with cooking. You can't rush it, but I did, and now I'm sorry for it. But there we go. We take off that, and now we've got the nice meaty with a bit of fat on the inside, and it's nice and juicy, and that's what you want. So I don't have a fork, so I'm just going to use this, which is okay. You can if you need to. And oh wow, it'd be really much better if I had a fork. But I'm just going to cut into this. You can have it however you'd like. I mean, some people prefer slices, other people prefer solid chunks. I personally prefer solid chunks. But here we go. Nice little, yeah, that's nicely cooked all the way through. Now, some people like it a little undercooked, and to each their preference. I don't hold anything against people that don't like it well done. So it's to your preference, and you just got to cook it and make sure it's nicely cooked to your preference, obviously. And there's different cooking times and different temperatures that you can find. Most likely on Google. If you just Google it, you'll be able to find whatever you want when it comes to whatever cut of meat you are making, whatever type of roast you want. And here we go. Now, I'll take this piece because I like it in a big chunk. And I like a lot of meat. Here we go. Now just chop that, plop that onto the plate, just like that. All right, now this is going to be a bit difficult. All right, yeah. Gonna give my friend Von CHIBI the good portion. Man, it's coming apart, and this is incredibly hot as well, so do not try this without protection or without a fork, as I'm doing, because this is just a bad idea. So, it's, you know, I'll take this tiny bit of good bit, and I'll give the rest of the good bit to my friend. There we go. That's all right. All right, we can just take away the, whew, this part. Whoa, that is hot. That is incredibly hot. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Alright, just chop into it, and it's not wanting to give away. So, oh well, we'll just leave that for now. And just plop it on. This is not the best example of crackling, and I'm aware of that, so you can stop laughing at me. I know I screwed up. Shut up. Well, I'm gonna eat the disgusting gross bit, which is just a floppy bit of gristle and stuff. And that's a nice hard bit for my friend. There we go. All right, and now we get to the good part, which is the onions. Now this is something I'm excited about. There we go. The onions are nice. They've sweated. They've been cooking in their own juices. Oh boy. This is gonna be good. And also, do not touch hot liquids with your hand, as I almost just did. And I just plop that down in the middle. And I'll get one of the other onions as well, so then it's nice and evenly distributed. Just like that. Plop. Now this is a very big meal. As I was stating before, this meal is enough to feed 4 to 5 people, and I'm making it for 2. So, after all, it is a birthday dinner. We can spoil her. And here we go. But it's a birthday dinner as well as a Christmas feast, so see it however you will. Doesn't really matter. And then with the rest of the sauce, as you find in here, fold this over so it doesn't leak out. Make a little divot in the foil, and then you're able to do this. Oh, now be careful because it will fall out. There we go. And just pour over. Now, it did spill quite a bit, but that's only because I wasn't being very careful. So, if you do that, no need to panic. All you have to do is clean up the side of your dish. Presentation is everything. Mop it up from the table. And it's like it never happened. Which is fine. Because you don't want to have a messy table. But then again, I'm throwing out this tablecloth when I'm done. Only because I've already burnt it and I've already spilled stuff on it, and I just don't really have a use for it outside of Christmas for now. I'll buy more tablecloths down the line. Maybe we'll be able to use it as a rag. Who knows? But here we go. Yeah, just clean up sides of the plate. Doesn't take a lot of effort. Now, you got to be extra careful when using clear plates because it shows everything, man. If you touch just the slightest edge of the plate, it'll show up and your fingerprint will be there. And that happens on everyone's plate. It's just when it's clear as day. So there we go. Now, that is how I prepare my disgustingly Christmassy, birthday-y roast meal. And yeah, wow. I think it's done. Let's just have a good look at that. A good look at what that looks like. Nice and beautiful and fatty. And this is really, really not a healthy meal. So just keep in mind that I'm cooking, this is just what I like to do. It doesn't mean that everyone should do it. This is how I cook and people like it. So, you know, you got to go with what people like, right? Anyway, I want to see what happens with your Christmas, as I've said before, but if you've been watching up until this point, please, hashtag INTERPEEPS. And anything that you have Christmas, whether it be a tree, whether it be the food, or presents, or your house decorations, anything Christmas-based that you're doing this year, hashtag INTERPEEPS, and it's going to be featured in one of my videos. I'll select between all the pictures that you guys send me, and I'll find my favorite ones and I'll feature it in a video that following Christmas. So thank you all for watching. You've been watching Scarabic Gaming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell button to do me a favor. Let people know I exist. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon, INTERPEEPS.